Shalom, everyone. Listen, I got to looking at some more stuff. Sorry about my eyes. I've been crying, and I just take a shower, and sometimes when I'm washing my eyes and stuff, they get a little red. But anyway, I didn't have a very good encounter with my son, who accused me of a couple things, and just really hurtful that people have caused my children to behave in certain ways. But it's okay, because I totally just shake the dust off of my feet and say, go ahead, dragon, have my children. I give you permission if that's what they chose. So anyway, as far as I'm concerned, I have no children anymore, and that I'm fine with it. I've already talked to the Creator about it. They want to be a piece of shit in the earth, they can be a piece of shit in the earth, and that's exactly what I told them. Anyway, I got to looking at, I found some more stuff that I was going through today, and this was my kindergarten class. And it's funny here, I don't know if you can see, but there's a whole list of people here. And so I'm on the top, but they've got it written on the bottom for the last row, which would be on the top. And I'm found there all the way over. If you're looking at the picture, I'd be all the way up to the top on the right. And it's amazing to me that my teacher's name was Miss Filden, which has the word "den" in there. That's amazing. Field Den. And we've been talking a lot about being in the wilderness and in the garden, right? So ridiculous. Well, I'm telling you, this whole country is under sorcery. It's ridiculous. That my whole path in my life has been... I was led here by demonic forces. And my parents, like I said, made an agreement with the dark realm. And so have you. I bet you $5. Books! The deer... So stupid. And see that we say things like that and we put things in motion. But I'm saying right here, I call null and void to anything that would come upon anyone as any kind of wicked way. I will only bless, and so whatever the positive from that is what you will get, because I'm not going to curse. I know I get on this and cuss and stuff because I'm mad at the enemy. And somebody had made a comment, and I'm spitting on the wicked spirits is who I'm spitting on. And all the people that choose to sell themselves out with that, well, then a spit is what they'll get from the Creator. But anyway, it amazes me that her name is Miss Filden. So my whole life started in school with the den right there. Now, being the start of the last row, guess what name comes up? Charles. And I got on here last week, I guess it was, and said I'm not the devil's wife, because, you know, Charlie's Angels and all that bull crap. And I'm in that whole line right there. And within that whole row, we've got a Joe that shows up there. and my mother's name was Joe as well. This is amazing to me. It's funny because I'm right next to a little boy named Justin, and him and I he had a little motorcycle, and we lived in this little, hick town when I was a kid, and he had this motorcycle, and I was on the back of that motorcycle with him, and we were going through the four-way crossway. At the crossing. We've been talking about that. It's funny because I hadn't thought about him in a long time. He actually, I think we were in the 5th grade or something like that. They were waiting to go into gym, and there was a wall that had come apart at the top of the, by the door. That was a separator, a wall that separated, and we had kids on both sides of that wall, and it had come apart, and it actually fell on him and crushed him. It was horrible to our whole town, but he literally got crushed underneath that wall. But I'm standing next to him, and I hadn't thought about him in a long time, and I had that thought, I don't know, a few days ago, last week, whenever it was, he came to my mind. And because I had been talking about the crossing, and him and I were going on his little motorcycle in town. We were young, and it was a hick town, so we were just kids. And it must have been 5th grade when he died. But he had like one of those little motorcycles, and I was on the back of it, and we were going through the crossing, and this truck hit our back end and hit my leg. But it wasn't going, I mean, I literally got up from that little incident, and, you know, my knee was, you know, a little hurt or whatever, but it didn't break or anything like that. But it's amazing to me that he's standing right next to me, and I was just thinking about him. And that I'm in this row here with a person named Joe and Charles, and, you know, I've been accused of being Charlie's angel's or wife, or the devil's wife, or whatever, and my teacher's name is Miss Fieldin. That's amazing to me. Now, when I was in kindergarten, me and a little boy named Andy, oh, isn't that funny? Because I actually have a Raggedy Ann and Andy little story also about that. Maybe I'll share that another day. But anyway, this kid that was in our class, we were acting like we were getting married. The teacher had walked out of the classroom. Now, this is the kind of stuff that puts us in motion to do things. And whatever reason why we even did this in our little kindergarten classroom, it's spiritual. Guys, this is spiritual. That's why it's so important to grab your children and put a blessing over them before you send them out, because there are wicked spirits that are hunting even your children. And maybe you say, yeah, but you're not on our side. Actually, they want your I don't care what side you're on. You better pay attention to me, because I know what I'm talking about. Because if I haven't proved to you that the true creator of all things talks to me, then you're stupid. You really need to listen, because some people are hearing from demonic forces and still getting results, but it is going to bite you in the end. All right? Solomon, and I've said this before, had stated that some people is evidence. There's stuff that happens to them out here, and some people, when they pass on, it follows them afterwards. So you might want to take that into consideration. This stuff is real. But anyway, we were walking down the aisle. We had kids on two rows of aisles, or we had desks on each side, and then like an aisle in between. Is what I'm trying to say. I'm tired. But anyway, and then at the end of that aisle, you could walk right to the teacher's desk. Well, she had walked out of the room, and for whatever reason, Andy and I began to walk down that aisle like we had told everybody we're getting married. And we got to the teacher's desk, and we crawled underneath the desk, and we kissed. And when we did that, you know, it was just a little peck. We were just little kids. As she walked in the room, we got in trouble for doing that. But I'll never forget that. It's always stuck in my mind. But being in an enclosure with him, it's spiritual. There's something spiritual to that. I hadn't thought about that in years. But, you know, finding all this stuff and looking at all of this evidence. Oh, here's something else I wanted to show about. Tell about this. There's like a row of different pictures here. I can't see if I'm getting the phone in here, but there's like a row of different pictures here for each row that all the kids are on. There's pictures for each row. Now, amazing to me, because in the row that I'm on, it's got the singers, and I'm a singer. See how things play out in our life? Because somebody in this country has put a curse in the land. It's amazing to me. I got to looking at all that, and it's like, it says the singer. And it's got a guy on the one side playing the guitar, and the girl on the other side singing, and there's notes coming out of her mouth. And I'm in that row, and I'm a singer. Now, these things just aren't coincidence. This is sorcery in the land. And we got to get rid of it. I told my neighbor guy today, I talked to him and was kind of talking to him a little bit about this stuff. And what did I tell him? It just totally left my mind. I guess I wasn't supposed to share it. If it comes back, I will share it. But anyway, I just want to share this. I'm tired. I had a fight with my son, and it wasn't very nice. And basically, just I shake my feet and the dust from my feet from him. And if he wants to, you know, be under this sorcery and be wicked towards someone who gave him life in the earth realm, then he's going to have to answer to the Creator. And he made his bed, he'll have to sleep in it or be eaten by it or whatever. Because I just, of course, I love my children always, but at the same time, I've been living without them all this time now anyway, so it is what it is. So, but anyway, I just want to get on here and share that. I thought that was amazing. So if I get more, I'll share. Sure.